Welcome to part 2 of the biggest winter battles of World War II. Part 1 depicted the Finnish Winter War of 1940, the U-boat war in the Atlantic Ocean of 1941, and the Battle of Moscow during the winter of 1942. So let's continue with the winters 1943, 1944 and finally 1945. If you haven't already, feel free to check out that part 1, but let's continue with part 2, and the first build of it is the Battle of Stalingrad in 1942 and 1943. My first step was to build a frame, which actually has 2 steps this time. After tiling everything off, I've started with the actual build and therefore at first designed this dark red pillar. Beside dark red, I've also added a few spots of light bluish gray by using, for example, this headlight brick technique. I've then added these 2 modified bricks to the rest of the pillar, which allowed me to attach a pipe. Speaking of it, let's build it. I don't use a lot of Technic pieces in my builds, but this time they actually work pretty good for it. I've used pins and axles to connect all the round pieces and even complemented some reddish brown parts, which are supposed to look like weathered parts. I've even used these candle pieces to create thinner pipes. To connect both of them, I've used these modified tiles with clips on the top, and they perfectly fit onto the candle pieces ends. After building a second pillar, I've connected all 3 modules. To connect them at an angle, I've only placed one 1x1 plate which holds everything in place and then placed a bunch of tiles underneath of the pillars. As this is a winter build, I of course also needed to attach some white pieces. I've therefore used a selection of rounded plates and tiles. Next, I've continued with the street and even complemented some small cracks by using wedged plates and again some rounded tiles. As this build is supposed to take place in the Soviet Union, of course we needed a Soviet tank, which is my custom built T-34. Speaking of custom built tanks, if you are interested in buying some of these, I can highly recommend you checking out Bricks of Valor, which is my own online shop, and all the sales help supporting the channel. We are currently running a Black Friday sale until Cyber Monday, where you can save up to 30% at our building kit. So if you're interested in them, I can highly recommend checking them out by today. On top of it, each order above 150 euro will receive this Leichte Feldhaubitze 18 kit for completely free until supplies last. Let's continue with the build, where only a few details are missing. I've again added a small spot of snow as well as finally finishing all the tiling work for the ground. I've added battle damage and fire at the engine area at the T-34. Now only the minifigures are missing, and I've therefore added 2 German as well as 2 Soviet soldiers, which are fighting close corner right next to the T-34. My final step was to spread some parts of the T-34 all around it. And here is the final build, which perfectly recreates the Battle of Stalingrad in my opinion. The next MOC depicts the Battle of Korsun-Cherkassy in 1944. It also took place at the Eastern Front, right next to Kiev. As you just have seen in the picture, this place was fully covered in snow, and that's why I will mainly use white for this MOC. At first I've placed a bunch of white curved slopes all over the MOC to have a better idea where the road will be and where the hills are. As a lot of vehicles driving through that road, only a few spots of snow are seen there and all other is mud. I've therefore used a bunch of reddish brown tiles. After finally finishing the road, I've added the second layer to the hills. I've therefore again mainly used the curved slopes. But at first I had to raise all the borders by using a bunch of white bricks. To give the hills some more detail, I've even complemented again a few spots of reddish brown as well as some smaller slopes like these 1x1 cheese slopes and smaller curved slopes. As the road is done, I thought it is the perfect timing to place my custom built Nashorn. And my completely new World War II German winter soldiers are the perfect crew for it. Now I just have to raise the last 2 hills and the MOC is done. I've therefore again used the same techniques as before. The third and final build will be the Battle of Bastogne in 1945, which was part of the Battle of the Bulge. As Bastogne is a French city, I've decided to build a small house for this display. Part of the house will be this archway. After building the basic structure, I've attached a bunch of modified bricks at it, which allowed me to connect these cheese slopes right next to them. You will see in a second why I've needed those. I've started the house with a bunch of plates and this hinge plate. I've then started building the wall and even came up with a unique window design which I will present to you. I've grabbed a bunch of modified plates with clips and connected them. I've then grabbed this bar piece, placed it in between there, which perfectly works as window frame. I've built the second one of these modules and added some brown pieces in between of them. I've then attached a bunch of tan pieces which work as the house wall and added a second layer to it. And here you see where I've added the cheese slopes. They perfectly end up with the wall which is placed at a slight angle. I've decided to add some snow on the top of the archway as well as on the roof. I've therefore again used some smaller tiles and wedged plates. After tiling everything off, I've connected the roof at the rest of the house like so. The hinge brick allowed me to place the roof at an angle. The house is done, so let's continue building the landscape around it. This time I won't include a real border, but therefore a freeform. But before I will add a bunch of wedged plates and curved plates to the MOC, let's attach the house real quick. We are slowly getting there. Now I only have to attach all the plates and tiles to the build and we are done. Even if the Battle of the Bulge took place during the winter of 1944 and 1945, there wasn't too much snow in Bastogne, which is the reason why I didn't add a lot of snow spots to the build. The build itself is done, so let's add this M4A2 Sherman as well as 2 101st Airborne soldiers in their winter uniforms. I've also added this US tanker on top of the Sherman. And now I can finally present you my most favorite build of this video. I am a huge fan of the house as well as the freeform. Let me know in the comments down below which of these 3 builds your favorite was, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you and see you next time. Bye bye.